Hello and welcome to my channel. As you can see here, this is my truck and it's covered with ice. So I recorded this video a while back, quite a while back, and it was January and I was stuck in an ice storm. And this video is actually a continuation from a video of how to make sauerkraut. This is using the rest of the cabbage I had on hand while I was cooking in the camper. So come along with me as I make this awesome stir-fried cabbage and baby eggplant. Okay, hello again. Well, hello. In this video, I am taking that last quarter of cabbage. So I took 3/4 of the cabbage and made sauerkraut. And I've got this 1/4 left, right? So this is for my cooking for 1 or 2. So I'm going to take that and for those of you who may not know, I'm at my camping site. And it is raining, it is icy, it's cold. My car doors are frozen shut. I just picked the wrong weekend or wrong time to come up here to the campground. Not checking the weather thoroughly, and that is my fault. I was just determined to come out because I hadn't been out since November, and this is the end of February 20th. And so I can't get into the back of my car because I brought up some additional spices and things and vinegars. I've got apple cider. Well, I have apple cider vinegar in here, but I've got pineapple vinegar. I've got coconut vinegar, balsamic vinegar, some other spices and different things, but I can't get to them because the back of the truck is frozen. See, in this picture you'll see. Anyway, so I'm dealing with what I have brought into the camping trailer, and I'm just going to create. So this is my own put it together recipe. You can try it if you like. I made a mixture of spices of what I had, and that is, let's see, I had Italian seasoning, some celery salt, which I used to make the sauerkraut, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and that's it. Right? So for some flavoring there. Yes, Italian seasoning, celery salt, a little bit of salt, some pepper. And this container, which I just pulled out of the refrigerator, so I've got to let it thaw out a little bit. When I buy garlic, I buy the unpeeled garlic. You can buy that, about a pound of unpeeled garlic. And I put it in a large mason jar. This jar is specifically for when I come camping. I put the garlic in the jar and then I cover it with olive oil. So I have garlic infused EVOO. Well, yes, extra virgin olive oil, garlic infused. Now, olive oil will get solid when in the refrigerator, but as it sits out for a while, it'll start melting. It's kind of like coconut oil. When it's cold, wintertime, coconut oil is solid. Well, olive oil in your cupboard is a liquid, but when it's in the refrigerator for a while, it is a solid. So down under here is lots of garlic. I'm going to use this along with several cloves of garlic to actually saute my items. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take half of this onion, slice it up. Oh, by the way, this is chopped up cilantro. Brought fresh cilantro to put in my guacamole that I made yesterday, which is another recipe I'm going to do for you in the future. And then I forgot to put it in there, so I'm going to take a little bit of this. I have some left that I'm going to be eating on tonight, and I'm going to put a little bit of this in there. But in the meantime, that's my cilantro. So we're going to move these off to the side a little bit. Chopped up cilantro, and then I'm going to chop up this onion. Always get to that last side piece, and it doesn't want to cut for me. And then I'm going to cut this side in half so the pieces aren't quite so long. So that's my onion. Put that over there with the cilantro. And then here's my cabbage. And I'm going to slice it up. And I'm going to allow it to stay long too. I didn't take out the core. I'm going to take the core out. A little bit more. There we go. So anyway, as I was saying, it's freezing rain outside still. I was hoping it would warm up some, and hopefully it will. I'm frozen in right now. Not able to really go outside and walk. I've got warm clothes. No, I don't. My trench coat, which has the winter lining in it, is in the truck. Yes, in the truck, of which the doors are frozen. Okay, let me move this out of the way. I need some more chopping space. Alright, so far we have that quarter of a cabbage, a half of a medium onion. When I finish this, it'll probably be maybe about a tablespoon of, I just took out some of the cilantro to put in my guacamole for later, but about 2 tablespoons or so maybe of, let's see, yeah, you can see it. So about 2 tablespoons of the cilantro chopped up. Alright, so that's that. But that's not all I'm going to do. I have baby eggplants, of which I bought the baby eggplants before and then forgot about them in the refrigerator. So I'm going to take off the tops. And I'm going to slice them up. Now there's a recipe on Yumly for roasted baby. I went out looking for recipes, and it's like there's a ton of recipes for baby eggplants. Now people do eggplant parmesan, and there's some eggplant pizzas for baby eggplants. So you could, instead of cutting them in half, you slice them, and you can make a pizza with them. Well, I'm just going to slice them up with my cat. I know this is going to probably be a weird recipe, but I'm famous for my weird recipes, right? And no, not right. I have to stop saying right. Catch that. My other favorite word to say is so. And I know better. As a speaker, as a seminar leader, I know better. But I still catch myself in situations like this of doing that. I think I told you on the sauerkraut video that I was working on. Nah, it was on the video when I first talked about being up here freezing. That I was working on a seminar called Slam Your Exam. There's something else I want to put in this. Hold on. I'm going to add a couple of stalks of celery. Now, thank goodness my refrigerator, if my refrigerator wasn't cold, I would be able to set my stuff outside in my cooler that I brought everything up in. Let's see. So outside this celery is looking kind of sad. So cut that up. That's what happens. Sometimes you get your celery and it looks kind of sad on the outside and it's kind of stringy sometimes. So I'm going to take off those pieces. Look at this one, it's got a little brownness on it. I don't waste things, but being up here, normally I will take these peelings and everything. I used to put them in my compost pile till I realized that it would draw critters. So I stopped putting fresh vegetable things in the compost pile as they were. I started putting them in a blender and chopping them up. Okay, I don't want that small one anymore. So I'm about to run out of room on my cutting board here. But I'm going to put some things. I'll let you know how this tastes at the end. I'm just getting this ready for my dinner meal. I try to eat, depends. Sometimes I eat 2 meals in a day. Sometimes I eat 1. We'll see how far down this cooks down, because it will as it loses water. But I've got the texture and the flavor of the celery. 3 light color veggies here. The celery, the onions, and the cabbage. Cilantro is green, and the eggplant is white. I still have 1 more eggplant, but I think I'm going to leave that there. I might, if I've got some tomatoes, something, I may see what making a eggplant pizza may be like. Or roasting, putting in the roaster. Alright. So, in the recipe, it didn't call for cabbage, but in the recipe it has green peppers and red peppers and whatever, and the spices are different than what I've got here. Now, I should just like sprinkle some of these spices over this, because all I'm going to do is put them all in the pan and stir fry them. And I'm turning on the fan so I don't have as much, you know, moisture in the air while I stir fry it, because I'm in the camper and you have to be very careful about moisture in the camper, especially with the fact I really can't open the windows because of the way the wind is blowing and the rain is doing. Otherwise it gets wet in here. Now my fan is open and available, so I can turn on the fan over the stove and I can expel some of the steam from cooking. But I want to be very careful with that. Alright, so you see well, maybe you can't see, but I can see that the olive oil is starting to melt up. So when this olive oil is finished, so to a point that I can scoop some out, I'll come back on camera and show you what I'm going to do with this. And I'm going to put it in my pan. and stir fry it over my propane stove. I could pull out my electric fry pan, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to use the propane stove. So I'll be back as soon as this gets unthawed. Okay, so it's been a little bit of time, and my olive oil is melted, and you can see the garlic cloves in there. So this, when you do this, I mean, when you first put the olive oil in there and let it sit and infuse, I just put it right in the refrigerator. You have some really strong garlic olive oil. And as I use the olive oil, I just put more olive oil in it. And the garlic has antibacterial properties as far as I have been taught. And they last in the refrigerator on the olive oil for a long time. So I recommend that you try that so you can have that easily infused, and you don't have to always saute your garlic in your olive oil to get that flavor. You've got it infused in there totally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera over to the stove so we can take a look, and you can see me as I saute the veggies. Alright, let me see. There we go. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to squeeze by the camera, but here, let me get a little closer. There. I need to turn on the fan, but it makes too much noise for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it off for now, and I'm going to turn off the camera as I'm sauteing. But I'm just going to pour some of this awesome, just really awesome. Yeah, that is too big to put in there. And I'm going to pull out a couple of garlic cloves. And this is, let's see, so this is the center, put it on light, and then I keep doing this until it lights. This is what you do on a propane stove. And I'm going to turn it down a little bit and let that get warm. Now, one of the things I don't have in here is a garlic press. I did not include one of those. I didn't have an extra one either. So I know I'm in the camera, so I have a little thing here full of tools. And I'm going to look to see if I have a garlic press. And I do not have one of those. So what I may do is I'm going to take some of this garlic and I'll put it over here on the cutting pieces and take it out, and I'm going to chop it up. So I'm going to pause this camera for a minute while I chop up the garlic. Okay, this garlic, this oil, oh man, it smells so good. I mean, it's really totally infused with the garlic. Alright, so now I've got all my stuff that I cut up. So this is going to be a little interesting. Here's my garlic over here on the corner. Hopefully you can see that, because I can't see. All I know is you can see the frying pan. Anyway, so I'm putting everything in here. Putting in the eggplant first. It has a lot of water in it. Some recipes call for you to salt the eggplant and let it sit for a while so you can get the water out of it. Same kind of concept as with making the sauerkraut, because the salt takes out the water from the cabbage and comes outside of that. So when you're making sauerkraut, that's what happens. Probably shouldn't have sprinkled that seasoning on top, because a lot of it hit the bottom of the cutting board. But that's okay. I can always add more, right? So I'm just going to steam this. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the drawer and see if I don't have a lid that will fit this, because this lid is really small. I don't have a lid for it. Interesting. I must have left it at home. So, what else can I do? What else can I do? Well, we'll just leave it be. No lid, so I can steam it up. Don't have a bowl that I can cover it with. Even my bowls for cooking in the microwave are not big enough. I'm going to find something, but in the meantime, I'm going to turn off the camera, and I'm just going to let this saute. I'm going to turn on the fan so it won't bother you. Of course, I can always edit the sound on this portion, but you know what it's like to saute. So that's all I'm going to do, is I'm going to sit here and saute this, and I'm going to put the fan on, and I'm going to go away and come back once it's cooked. Well, okay, I got distracted a little bit, but look, I found the lid. I found the lid. So I've got everything. It is done. I let it stick a little bit because I was watching a video and said, oops, I gotta get back to my food. Yeah, we do that, right? All right, so this is done. I was glad I looked down underneath and found the lid, because that allowed me to steam it. I was going to look for a plate or something I could put on top. I thought I had a lid available, because I got a big pot too. Now, let me rinse this fork off. I'm going to take a taste. Take a little bit of the, I want to say sauerkraut, because I've been talking that all day, of the cabbage and of the eggplant and some onion, and just, it's hot, but it is good. I could use a little bit more salt on it, but the flavor is good. And you'll notice that it's really shiny. I added a little bit more olive oil because I'm doing more of a ketogenic diet. Not totally, because I am eating my carbs, but I've cut the number of carbs down. But 80% of my calories, see, this is so good, I'm ready to eat more, comes from fat. Olive oil, coconut oil, bacon fat, lard, but no canola, no corn, no of the other ones, vegetable oils, no Crisco kind of oils, no hydrogenated, you know what I mean, fat is in here. So coconut, olive, bacon, hey, they've even got tallow, which is beef fat, and duck fat available out there, because fat does not make you fat. Actually, fat makes you slim. A little bit more salt, but that's it. One of my favorite guys And he is so funny, but he is knowledgeable. And that's Butter Bob. So if you haven't watched Butter Bob on YouTube, find it. His YouTube channel, if I remember correctly, is Butter Makes Your Pants Fall Off. So that's the other one that I use a lot of, is butter. I make popcorn, which is starch, but I load it with butter. I mean, I don't hold back on my butter and salt, because that's the other thing. They told you that you needed to reduce your salt. Well, the sodium that's in table salt, yes, because it's a mixture of stuff. Read the box. When I read the box, I knew they put iodine in it, or you could buy the kind with no iodine. But I read the box and I said, what's this? An anti-caking agent and all that other stuff. So I use salt, I use fat and butter. When I have bread, I butter it liberally. In fact, one little thing I'm going to tell you before I end this particular video is the more fat I eat, the more weight I've lost. So that's it. My little concoction here with eggplant, cabbage, onions, garlic, some celery. It's just really good. And, well, you already know what the title is, so I'm going to be thinking about what I'm going to call this. But this is Cooking for One. This is really, like, if I wanted to, this would be all I ate for dinner, and maybe I'd have a little piece of chicken or fish or beef or something like that. But this isn't going to be everything I have for dinner. So you have a wonderful day, evening, whatever. But this is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, telling you, as you have believed, let it be done to you, and it is so. Thank you for listening today, and please forgive the sound in the background. It was the heat on in the camper that was keeping me warm in that cold weather. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet, and please share this video with anyone that you think would love just learning different ways to cook food, especially when you're cooking for one or two. And I will see you in the next video.